Hey guys, so I decided to film my daily makeup routine for you. So the first thing that I start off with is always spraying my face with my Mario Badescu lavender spray. I just feel like it gives a nice refreshness to the skin, especially once your moisturizer has dried. It just kind of refreshes and hydrates the skin. Then I jump right into priming my face after letting the spray dry. And I always use the Benefit Professional Primer. It's really great. It makes a really wonderful base for any foundation that you want to use. And what I'll do is just take out a little bit, usually the size of like a penny, rub it in between my fingers just to kind of warm it up. And then I'll go ahead and press it into the skin and then rub the excess around the rest of my face. But I usually just stick to pressing it into my problem areas so that anywhere that I have larger pores or I kind of get a little bit oily or things don't apply as well. And the next product that I jump into using is my foundation. I use the Makeup Revolution Full Conceal Foundation. I'm in the shade F2. I love this foundation because it's so full coverage. It blends out beautifully and it just makes a nice base for the rest of your products on top of the primer. I'm going to just blend that out with my very dirty beauty blender. And then the next product that I use is my Tarte Shape Tape Concealer. I love this concealer. It's honestly, every rave review that you've heard about it is true. It's the most full coverage concealer you'll ever use. And I always just put it right under my eyes to cover up my dark circles. And then I put it on my chin, on the bridge of my nose, and the center of my forehead, just to highlight my face and conceal any spots where my foundation tends to wear off, like my chin. And then I'll just go back in with a beauty blender and blend that out. So after blending out my concealer, I like to set with my Rimmel London Stay Matte Powder. I go between using pressed powders and loose powders, and right now since I'm abroad, I just decided to pick up the cheapest powder I could find. This is one that I've used off and on throughout the years since I started wearing makeup. It's just a really great drugstore product, really sets the skin, sets the foundation really well, and it doesn't cake up or anything like that. And I've always found that it just sets it the right amount. It doesn't dry my skin out at all, but it just creates a nice mattified base. So the next product I use is the Hula bronzer from Benefit. So this is one that I've actually just recently tried. I picked it up before I left for my study abroad experience, where I just knew I wanted to try it, figured it'd be a great addition to my makeup collection, and I really love this bronzer. It just creates a nice warmth for the skin, and you can use it as both a contour and a bronzer, which is awesome, and I really enjoy it. So I'll just blend it out with my bronzer brush throughout the outside of my face, and I'll use it to contour my nose and under my lip. Then I move on to blush. So today I'm using the e.l.f. blush in the shade Blushing. So this is actually a really wonderful blush that's so cheap. I think I got it for like $1 at Target, and it's one of the best blushes I've ever used. So I'll just pop that on the apples of my cheeks and on the bridge of my nose. And then the next product I use is my Essence Pure Nude Highlighter. This is one of the most underrated highlighters, I feel, because no one ever talks about it, but it creates such a beautiful flush to the skin with just a nice sheen. It's not sparkly at all, it just creates a nice little glow in your cheeks. And I actually just use the same brush as my blush brush, just because I feel like it adds a little bit more color to the skin once you're adding on to highlighter. So then I move on to eyeshadow. So before I left again for abroad, I got this as a free gift from Ulta. It was just a little face palette with some eyeshadows, and these eyeshadows are actually really awesome. So I'll start with just a shimmery cream shade mixed with a regular matte cream shade, and use my finger to set that as my base color for my eyeshadow. And then I move on to mixing 2 brown shades just to add definition to my crease. My everyday makeup routine, I usually just stick with using 2 or 3 shades of eyeshadow, usually more medium shade brown. Sometimes I'll just go into a dark brown like I did today, but I will literally just throw 2 or 3 colors into the crease and then go on about my day because I'm just doing it for definition. And you can see I kind of picked up a little bit too much product with my brush, but it's just because these eyeshadows are so pigmented. And then since the eyeshadow came out a bit darker than I anticipated, I just added in a lighter orangey shade to kind of blend out the edges of the shadow and then lighten it up a bit. And then I'll just add another shimmer shade onto the lid just to clean it up and brighten up the eye space. Next, I'll move on to eyeliner. I'm using the NYX Epic Ink Liner. This eyeliner is absolutely incredible. It's so pigmented, it dries down matte, and it applies so easily. The felt tip is really smooth, and it's actually one of the best eyeliners I've ever used. I have tried a bunch from Essence to high end, and this is one of the best ones I've used. It's only like $9 at Ulta, and it's so good. So after I finish my eyeliner, I just move on to brows. So I don't do anything too crazy with my brows. I always just go in with my Essence Brow Mascara. I use the shade 02, I think it's Brown Brows or something like that. I am really lucky that my brows are pretty nice, so I don't really have to do anything too crazy. I used to use pencils and pomades and whatever, but I've just found that the brow mascara, especially for an everyday makeup routine, it just makes it so much easier. You just swipe it through your brows, and as you can see, it just fluffs them up, adds a little bit more color and definition. And then to finish my makeup look, I use the Lancome Monsieur Big Mascara. This mascara is, again, like everything else I use in my daily routine, it's a really incredible mascara. Makes it look like you have false lashes on, and I've probably repurchased this at least 4 times since I tried it last summer. And that is my finished daily makeup routine. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope you go ahead and try all the products that I use on the daily, and I'll see you in the next one.